the way I'm going to read the chart is I'm just going to go down each planet and I'm going to try and just so you know, like if one thing might be like, if it doesn't sound necessarily right per se, there might be something else that will balance it out. Like, for example, I might be reading some people will say, well, my zodiac sign is this, but I don't feel like I'm that way at all. It's just because, like, as they said, each planet represents something different. So you're rising, your rising sign, and rising is I broke this down. I had an epiphany today when I was thinking about this. Your rising sign is your unconscious personality. This is a personality that you unknowingly give off to other people. It's the one that you're not conscious of. And your rising is in Cancer. So Cancer is ruled by the moon. Its season is from like late June to late July. It is a water sign, and they're known for being moody. So a lot of people might mistake you for being a moody person, where they think where it's like, oh, what's wrong today? I'm fine now. What's wrong today? I'm fine. Like why do I look not okay? It's like you always seem like you're in a mood. I'm like, not. I'm really not. And
Yeah.
Cancers are similar to Gemini in the sense where it's like it seems like you're getting two different people. The difference between a Cancer and a Gemini, though, is that Cancer has a more of an emotional presence than the Gemini does, because the Gemini is just adapting to different people, whereas the Cancer actually feels a shift. So unconsciously, the way you express yourself comes off as though you're going through a hard time. So like maybe when you like if that's like a problem that you have, maybe try I don't know if it's a problem for you, but if it is a problem for you, I would say maybe like when let's say if you're talking to someone, try thinking about, okay, before I say this, do I sound like am I portraying what I want to portray, or do I sound like I'm upset, or do I sound moody, or do I sound watery, you know? Because the moon changes every single day. So that's why cancers are moody, because their mood is every single day, and it comes off as though like, oh, my life is miserable, my life is okay now, but you just said yesterday that your life was miserable. You said that last week was the worst day of your life. Which day is the worst week of your life? I'm confused, because cancers they're like that. Now your sun is in Taurus. Taurus is a Earth sign. It is ruled by the planet Venus, and it's a fixed sign. Now, no, there's two types of zodiac signs. There's fixed, mutable, and there's cardinal. Cardinal signs start off the seasons. So Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, and Aries, they start off the seasons. Fixed signs are like in the middle. So Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo are all fixed signs. And the fixed signs, they're all generally stubborn in their own way, but Tauruses are just more known for it because Tauruses have a more hard stubbornness compared to a Scorpio or a Leo or an Aquarius, because like someone like a Scorpio and an Aquarius, they're more subject to adapt because they're water signs, they go with the flow. Aquarius is the air sign, so you can't really. Air signs change every single day. It's the wind. Now, Taurus is known for being. People confuse it as lazy. It's not necessarily lazy. They like to do things at their own pace and not be rushed. Because if they don't do it at their own pace, they're not going to do it right. So there was an instance where I was watching an Office parody video, and the Capricorn boss lady went over to nag Taurus. Taurus, why haven't you done your work? I'll get it done. Why haven't you done it? I'll get it done. And then she walked away. She said, Taurus, I need you to get started. And there was a whole stack of papers of completed work. And she's like, okay. And she's like, yeah. Can you leave me alone now? It's like Taurus is taking. They just like to take their time. Like, don't rush a Taurus. Now, a problem that I have that I've dealt with this with a lot of Tauruses is that, well, that might be what works for them. Tauruses in fixed signs have a hard time doing this. They have to put a little bit more effort into coming to conclusions, because sometimes, for example, when it comes to like romance, like one of my friends is a Taurus, and I tell him this all the time. The reason why you're still single is because it takes you forever to realize whether or not you like somebody. And by the time you realize this, they've moved on because you took too long. Like, you had a chance, but because you took too long, they moved on. Like every Taurus, almost every Taurus I know has this problem, and the thing is, like they're stubborn about it because in their minds they'll think, oh, well, they'll wait for me. I'm like, I don't know what makes you think I'm going to wait 6 months for you, because like I don't even know if you're like 6 months before I could have had a boyfriend, I could have had been in a serious relationship at that point. So a lot of Taurus, and ironically enough, my Taurus friend also has an Aquarius moon, so it makes sense. And I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel based on just the sun and moon that you're attracted to more sensitive guys. I could be wrong, but like guys that have somewhat of an emotional appeal, like they can appeal to your emotions in a way.
Yeah, that's that, and I also attract to like goal, not goal oriented, but like can see in the future of like their career, but they're
Okay.
also emotionally like connected to something.
Okay, that makes sense because like most
Mm-hmm.
earth signs have this connection to their job. And I said this in the past, earth signs best express their emotions through their work, through their schoolwork, through their jobs. Like people, some people are always like, earth signs are so disconnected, they're so mean. Not necessarily. It's just they express it. Their emotions are invested in their work. So it's like one thing that will make an earth sign cry is you telling them that their work is shit. Like that will make an earth sign upset. Like they don't like being told that their work is shit. Like they don't. It'll short circuit them. I feel like my Wi-Fi is a bit laggy. Where is my phone charger? There it is. I'm talking to myself. So so like I will say, like if you ever are in a situation where you don't know how to express your emotions, or you're just feeling detached, try bringing up like your job, or try bringing up like your schoolwork, because I think when you explain it that way, it will help people understand you a bit more, because sometimes we try to break it down logically for people, and there are some people who can relate. They can relate on an emotional level, and then there's some people where it's like they can't relate on an emotional level, and it just becomes a question of like I've explained my emotions to someone so many times and they will like not get it because I'm not like, for them it's like people, like if you're not explaining your emotions in a way that results in like you crying into their arms or something, they're not going to understand, you know.
Yeah.
And so your Mercury, now Mercury, oh, by the way, and you're not my Mercury, your moon. Your moon is your subconscious personality. So rising is unconscious, toward your sun is your conscious, and then moon is subconscious. So what the rising and the sun, those are the consciousnesses that are kind of seen around other people. Your moon sign is your inner emotions, and it's the consciousness that you don't really show to other people. That makes sense.
I oh no, kinda and yes.
So it's like I haven't said what your moon is in yet. Your moon is in Aquarius. Wait, I did say that. I did say it was in Aquarius. The thing about Aquarius again, it's also a fixed sign. So like your stubbornness level is up just a little bit more. You're very stubborn. Aquarius is the opposing sign to Leo. So if I were to use it in terms of like historical figures, a Leo is like Little John, and Robin Hood is an Aquarius.
Okay, yeah.
Like Aquariuses do not like to follow the grain. They do not like they can follow the grain if they have to, but generally they like to be off on their own, doing their own thing, minding their own business, starting a revolution. Usually, like, and depending on where they are, they'll be the ones. They'll like, depending on the situation, they'll be the ones who are like at the forefront of like, our teacher sucks. We're not getting good grades. It's not because we're bad students. It's because he's just a bad teacher. You know, and Aquarius might be at the forefront of that whole shebang. You know, or like Aquarius is in a way they're also like trendsetters. They're in a way they're kind of trendsetters because, for example, everyone's going with the grain. Aquarius will be one of those first people that will break away from the grain to start their own thing. And because they're like hipsters, like for example, you might be the person in your family that starts something, and they're like, "Oh, why is she doing that? That's so weird." And then all of a sudden, everyone's doing everyone's doing the same thing that they just told you that you were weird for a few years later.
Yep, that's true.
So but the thing I think I also dislike about this is something I personally dislike about Aquarius is because I have a lot of Leo in my chart. Aquariuses are petty. They're very, very petty. They are so petty. It doesn't make sense to me how petty they are. Like it's a really weird pettiness. So they also have this very like treat they treat their friends and absolute strangers way better than they treat their family members. They have a very like, but did you die? Type of mentality towards their family. It's like Kourtney Kardashian when she was like, Kim, there are people dying. Like it's not that they dislike it, it's just that like Aquariuses like to do stuff for the greater good of humanity. They're humanitarians. So they like to act on the greater good of society. Like for example, you might be active. I don't know if you go to church or where you are in school wise, but you might be someone who's really active in your church or somebody who's really active. And when I say active in your school, I mean like maybe you're in a lot of clubs. The Aquariuses are usually doing a lot of things. They have their hands on a little bit of everything. They're always, sometimes they can do more than they can handle, but they're always doing a lot. Like, and most air signs do this, but Aquariuses are known for doing it the most. They're always like here, here, here. Like they're babysitting somebody's kids, or they're on the street, you know, passing out flyers for their church service, or they're like helping a little old lady across the street, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Am I hitting home so far?
Well, not church or school, but like work. I'm always the one to pick up shifts, always opening doors, always wanting to help other people. But it's like a lot of work oriented.
Understandable. And this is like your inner emotions though, and this is another reason why. Because most of the time when I do these readings, people expect me to get to their love life. Aquariuses are the least affectionate of all the signs, in my opinion. So they're very like, don't touch me. Like I love you, but don't touch me. Like it's like, oh yeah, I'm totally in love with you, but I don't want to hug you. Like don't touch. I don't know why they're like that, but they have that's their mentality. They're very like they're rebellious in that way. And it might just be like they have a rejection towards the modern standards of romance and how relationships should be. But like it's just very like they are in terms they're because they're air signs and they don't really have a connection to emotions, and they're just like here, there, with the wind, gone with the moon. You know, it's really hard to. If the one time Aquariuses feel affection, it's like savor it while it lasts, because you're like the one person they let you touch. Like you are the one person I let touch me. Like savor this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like as I have a friend, he has a Venus in Aquarius, and I don't know where his mind is, because he's always complaining about romance stuff. I'm like, but you don't realize you friend zone someone and they complain about romance. Like I'm confused. You'll friend zone someone and they complain about how they're not giving you affection. I'm lost. And at the same time, though, Aquarius just have to be friends with you before they can like romance you. Though they have to be friends with you. They can't just jump into it, and you have to stimulate them mentally. Like you probably would have to date a boy who can really get your like stimulate your emotions in a way to where it's like in an intellectual sense. Like you want a sensitive guy, but who's smart though. Like not like break down like Salvi basically. Like Salvi's someone who's sensitive and but intellectual at the same time. Sensitive but intellectual.
Yep, makes sense.
Now your Mercury is like it's the planet that rules your intellect. It rules like transportation. It rules your communication. And your Mercury is in Aries. Now Aries is also a cardinal sign. Now where this probably might also play into your rising, because Cancer and Aries do this thing where it's like Aries. If zodiacs were to rule body parts, Aries would be the head. Aries is like pure instinct. Like they don't really think about stuff; they just do it. So sometimes you might have the tendency, you might speak before you think, and you get yourself into trouble a lot. And sometimes you just get into arguments because you just for the fun of getting into an argument, you know. And you might have to have those friendships where it's like, well, fuck you, bitch. Well, fuck you too, but I love you.
Yes, that's me.
It's like playful banter. Aries enjoy playful banter. And in a way, they also get bored easily. Like, it's like 1 minute they're like, yes, it's having so much fun. I'm bored now. Mm-hmm. It's very like, it's like a match. It's like, if I were to compare, I don't really know how to compare fire signs in a certain way, but Aries is like a match. It's here and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Like whatever, if you want to keep an Aries entertained, you, like, so that you have to date like you probably are attracted to people who are very like very just quick pace in a way. But that's where it's kind of a contradiction because you're a slow moving Taurus, but you're attracted to quick paced people. Like they stimulate you. It's kind of weird, but like they're very like
Yeah, like honestly, when they go to concerts, you know how sometimes they have like this little intermissions. I just get really bored right away. Like I need something to happen right then and there. And even at work, like I had this one job which was like so slow, and I wasn't doing much. Like I need movement in something.
understandable. It could just be just an intellectual thing. It's not necessarily like mandatory. I will say be very careful with Aries because Aries can get you into trouble. Like it can get you in a situation where you didn't mean to end up in this situation, but you're here and you're stuck and you're like, oh shit, I should have thought about this more before I did it. Like, or it might cause drama with your friends where you said something and it really offended one of your friends and you didn't mean to do it, but it happened. If that makes sense. Now, onto your Venus. Your Venus is in Pisces. And Venus is like romance and it's like money. Now, what I love this about Venus and Pisces. Venus and Pisces is like one of the best places you can have your Pisces. I mean, it's one of the best places you can have your Venus because because Pisces is it's a mutable sign. And people who have their Venus as a mutable sign, it's not that they don't have standards, but they are not the kind of people to have shallow standards towards people. So for example, like, some guys are like, I want a man that has this, that has this, that has this, that has this, that has this. And if you don't got this, I don't want him. Where it's like a Pisces is more like they will accept you as you are. And there are people where it's like most mutable signs will accept, like they accept you. Like I'm a Virgo, so I'm a mutable sign. I have a very when it comes to romance, it's like I accept you as you are. All the flaws we can work on that later. But as of right now, I like you for you. I don't like you because you have this or you own this or you work here. I just like you for you. All the extra stuff we can worry about that later. Right now, let's just work on being like on establishing a relationship. So you have a really, really, really good, what's the word? Whoever you get in a relationship with is going to enjoy your company a lot. They're going to enjoy your company a lot. Now, what the downside of Pisces though is that like Pisces are like fish. So if I were to talk about water signs, Cancer is the crab. So they're like on the beach. They're in the water sometimes. They're not in the water sometimes. So they're in their emotions and they're not in their emotions. So they're moody. Scorpio, also water sign, is like that ugly little anglerfish with the light on his head, deep in the trenches of the water. So they're always in their emotions. The Scorpio is never not in their emotions. A Pisces is like a fish floating on the surface of the water. Not diving too deep, but not like completely out of their emotions. They're always like somewhat there. I mean, they'll dive deep when they get startled, So like you're the kind of person where it's like you have all these aspects, but you're scared of love. Like it scares you, like you're attracted to it, but it's scary. Like for example, there's that one boy who's like, "Hey, I like you." It's like, no,
Yep.
don't talk to me. And the friend's like, "But why did you run from him?" And you might say, I'm working too much, or I'm focused on too much. Well, no, you were just scared. Because like Pisces cannot practice their emotions in that moment. Pisces have to separate them, and they ghost basically. They have to separate themselves from the situation, process what happened, and then come back to it. Like that's how Pisces is. That's how Pisces are. So when it comes to your love life, I will, and if they don't process it correctly, they will lash out. So I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship, but I will say, I will definitely say the key is that like definitely try to process your emotions in a way, but and this is a huge but because a lot of Pisces that I meet, they have this issue. They come to their own conclusions about a conflict without talking to the other person. So like, and this can relate to family as well, but can be like, you did this, I'm offended, you hurt my feelings, I'm never talking to you again. But why not? But wait, I didn't mean like that. No, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'm not talking to you. Bye. Where it's just like, a lot of Pisces that I deal with, I always say like talk to the person, because you have this conversation in your head and you have your conclusion, but you don't talk to the person that you are in conflict with. So you should talk to the boys that you have crushes on instead of like dipping from them. Because if you run from romance, you're never going to find romance. And one can easily say, I'm just going to wait for them to come to me. Yeah, you can wait, but who knows how long you'll be waiting. You know, there's nothing wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong with a girl going out and finding a boyfriend. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I know society says the man has to ask a girl. There's nothing wrong with you asking a guy out. You might have to approach it differently, because like not all guys are used to being approached by girls. But just approach it in a way that appeals to them. For example, like you would probably be the most compatible with like in terms of men. You have a little bit of everything in your sign, in your chart. So you probably be compatible with either another earth sign or a water sign. So you probably, I think, a Scorpio is a strong maybe, a very strong maybe. A Scorpio, maybe another Pisces, or a Virgo or a Capricorn. Like if you were to combine it, like I would say if you dated like a Capricorn that had like water in their chart, that could work. Or if you dated a Scorpio that had earth in their chart, that could work as well. Because it's like it might balance you out. Because you have the downside to having a little bit of everything in your chart is trying to figure out what planets are the best to be appealed to. And hello, people in comment section. So. And also, like, Pisces have this, okay, also, this is something that Pisces also do. They do this thing where they lock on to someone and they imagine their whole life with that person right then in that moment. Every Pisces can do this, and I hate it because, like, I feel them in that moment, but at the same time, I know that they can do that. They can do that with anyone because they're the daydreamers. So you probably have a very fairy tale image in your head of what you want your boyfriend to be like.
Yes, I do.
They're always living in the fantasy. So I don't know, maybe your ideal man is like this nice Latino or Hispanic man coming at you with a nice little guitar and serenading you with your favorite Hispanic love songs or whatever. Like
actually, wait, what was it that my ideal, like when I was in school in senior year, I was like, if I get asked out, I need a guy to come and sing God Seven's Just Right to me in front of everyone during lunch. She's like, that's a fairy tale. That's never going to happen. I was like,
yeah. Or he could sing Lullaby, the Spanish version, to you.
Oh, yeah, I would die.
Because they actually have a Spanish version. You know, and I bet that, like, I can tell a K-pop moment that you probably liked was when EXO was in Mexico and they sang the Spanish version. Because I'm just like, I can tell, like, especially if you compare that with Pisces energy, like, that is a very, like, anything that you will see in a romance movie or read in a storybook, Pisces they love that kind. They love it. They love it so much. Like, that's how they want a man to come sweep them off their feet.
So, like, that one movie that just came out with Rebel Wilson, is that like the perfect example of a Pisces? Where like she has like this fairy tale image in her head that's like going on.
Rebel, which one?
It just came out this year. I don't remember the name of it. It just came out, and like the way you're explaining it, I'm like, wow, that's like probably a Pisces movie.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
maybe the first non-binary. Like, I need a good example. What's a good example? Like Shrek. Shrek is a good. Let's say Shrek is like. It's like think of a very edgy Pisces that wants the fairy tale romance, but not like the fairy tale romance, right? Like Shrek is an example of like Shrek is like, it's really weird because they still have a connection to fairy tales, but at the same time it's very like with a really it's like a Virgo came and punched them in the face. Fiona is an example. Yeah, it's like Fiona is like Shrek is like, I don't know. Shrek is like, what's a good example? He's like an Aries. He's either an Aries or a Sagittarius, maybe a Taurus. And Fiona's like a very strong Pisces energy because obviously she has that curse placed on her. True Love's Kiss. Fiona is a very Pisces woman, and Shrek is like not really a knight, but he's like, yeah, I'm here. What do you want?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not entirely sure what sign Shrek would be, but Fiona is an example of Pisces. Um, who's another example? Who's another example? Who's another example? Who's an example? Like Ariel. Pisces. Like Ariel is definitely Ariel will either be a Pisces or a Sagittarius, but like more likely a Pisces though. Because obviously she's in the water. Another example, I don't know, I've never seen Moana, but maybe Moana. Um, Belle, I would say Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Belle is more of a Sag though. I feel like Belle's like I feel like she's a Sagittarius that has Pisces energy in her though. Because what makes, for example, like I don't know if you have any friends that were born in December, early December, but what makes Pisces and Sagittarius really good friends is that Pisces is the daydreamer. Sagittarius is the idealist. So Pisces have a fantasy, and Sagittarius have all these ideas that come up in their head. So that's how they can be good friends. You know, I don't know about dating because I've seen that happen, and I'm just like, ooh. But like really good friends. So I don't. Maybe I don't know if you like any boys that have December birthdays. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's mostly like.
I don't know if your BTS bias is Jin, but like.
No,
okay.
my bias is not June, but like, someone had once told me that I like. What was it that I like? Summer to autumn boys. Like someone told me that like in terms of like their birthday, it's mostly like summer to autumn, not spring or winter.
They're implying that you would like that transitional period between summer and autumn, or like seasons summer to autumn.
Season.
So they say that you would probably be attracted to a Gemini, a Cancer, a Leo, a Virgo, a Libra, or a Scorpio.
Yeah.
Now, I understand the attraction to Rat Monster, who I still will forever call Rat Monster. I understand the attraction to him because Taurus and Virgo are compatible. I mean, Jungkook's also a Virgo, but like I understand the attraction to Rat Monster. You'd actually have like you would probably be good friends with who's your ultimate bias group, by the way?
My ultimate bias is G-Dragon.
He's a Leo. Okay.
Because he has like that bad boy. I don't know if you know the actor like James Dean.
Nope.
To me, not G-Dragon and James Dean are kind of the same because they have like this tough personality, but they're also emotional. Like not totally emotional, but you could just see it.
Understandable. Let me see.
Like I would say a good movie to watch by James Dean is like Rebel Without a Cause. Because like that kind of shows how he's like this tough boy, but he's also very sensitive and emotional.
Yeah, like I will say be careful though, because like you might want like for example Virgos. Like you have a fairy tale, don't treat your boyfriends like Virgo. No, don't treat them like the fairy tale though. Because for example, like a Virgo, for example. Now I'm like, yeah, you could date a Virgo, but at the same time, the downside to having a Pisces Venus and dating a Virgo is that Pisces and Virgos are opposites. So it's either gonna work or not at all. There's no gray area. And the same thing, if you dated a Virgo, a Scorpio, a Leo, a Virgo, a Scorpio, or a Leo, those three, it's either gonna work or it's not.
So it's gonna be like happiness or sadness.
It's either that's your husband or that's not at all.
Oh, okay.
There's no gray area with your opposites because like I've dated people who had Pisces Venuses. They themselves were not Pisces, but I've dated people who have Pisces Venuses, and the issue I always run into is that they keep trying to push this fairy tale on me, and I'm like, that's not me. Like for example, I had a dude who he was calling me out, and I was like, what are you talking about? Because I made a post that was like, I dare someone to make me fall in love with them. We weren't dating, you were just talking. He got really upset at that, and I was like, why are you mad? We're not dating. Like, I don't like you, like, we're not dating. Like, you never asked me to officially be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Why are you mad? Like, I don't like, why are you coming at me? I don't know what you're coming at me for. Like, you're doing, and then he realized later on that he was being stupid. And he was like, can you forgive me? He's like, no, I can't, because like, I can't date somebody who lashes out like that. Because he got very, again, when a Pisces energy, when it comes to their Venus, like, or their like Sun, Moon, Venus, or Mars, like when they cannot process something, they will lash out. Like if they can't have you to walk away and process it, they lash out. And air signs do this as well. So sometimes you probably might like when you get upset, you word vomit like, "Oh, my life is like this, my life is like that, my life is like this, my life is like that," and you just pour it out. And someone like, I don't know, you probably like have this one friend that you've been to hella hard.
Yes.
You know, that's really good. Onto your Mars. Your Mars is in Taurus. So Mars is like physical energy. It's your sex planet. It's your passion planet. Um, you probably can be. You will probably forgive somebody if they bring you food. That's me though. Like whenever I see Mars in Taurus, I was like, oh, because my friend Michael, he's a Gemini, but he has a Mars in Taurus, and I'm just like, he could be angry at, he could be like, I want to fight you. I'm like, do you want to talk about Michael? He's like, yes, I want Taco Bell. All is forgiven. Like all is for, and I'm like that too, because I could hate somebody and they could buy me food and I'm just like, I love you.
Actually, you know what? Me, not necessarily food. It's mostly like just like little like gifts that aren't like that are memorable. Like someone once gave me like a signed not a BAP album, and that is like treasurable to me. And like me and this person, like we went through like something very very difficult to where it ended up being like it ended up causing me to have like some super bad depression. But she gave it to me, and like I forgave her, like automatically. Like so, not necessarily food because okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm plus size, but I don't eat a lot. Like I don't eat a lot. But like with something memorable like that, like it meant a lot.
Understandable, because like I'm like I had a whole argument with one of my friends. He was an Aquarius boy, and he lashed out at me for some reason, and I'm just like, hey, what are you doing? Kat, what are you doing? He lashed out at me, and I was like, who do you think you're talking to? And he realized how what he did was wrong, and he bought me banchan. And I'm just like, all is forgiven. What was I even mad at you for?
Right? It's like you just forget, and it's like you automatically forgive them, but it's like they gave you something, but they never fully really apologize to you.
Yeah, it depends. Because also the thing with Taurus is though is that like Taurus, there's a video I saw called "How to Be a Taurus," and she was like, "It's been 7 years since we broke up. I finally have seen the errors of my ways."
Yes.
Because they'll realize, oh, by the way, I was wrong. Like 10 years later, it's like, oh, really? Okay.
Like my friend, I blocked her because she had said something that was offensive to me. And she kept trying to tell me over and over, like, you know you're wrong because you blocked me too, right? I was like, I wasn't wrong. That's the right thing to do.
I mean, again, like Tauruses will never admit they're stubborn, so they're not gonna say that they're wrong. Like there was this one dude I was in, he was a Taurus, but he had a lot of Cancer and Aries energy. And he just blocked me one day, and I was like, "What did I do to you?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was in my emotions, and I just went on a blocking spree." And I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Like I don't. It was very just out of the blue, and so with your aggression, you won't necessarily go off because earth signs are very hard to piss off. Someone has to get you to a point where they push that button that just sets you off. Like no, like because earth signs, we're known for being emotionally detached. Like we have emotions, but we can separate our emotions from a situation where she's like, yeah, can't really be emotional about the situation. I have to think about it logically. Like sources, like earth signs can do that, but if you push us and push us and push us and push us and you hit that button, we explode and it's not pretty. It's really, because people always talk about all the signs that are the most scary when they're angry. And honestly, that can only, like the fact that they don't have all three earth signs on that chart is BS to me, because like Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, they're fire signs. So they get angry all the time. So they're more at peace. But the people who don't get angry and you push them to that point, their rage is more scary because they don't express that emotion that often. So people aren't used to it. If an Aries is always cussing and swearing at me and they get angry, I'm like, okay, whatever. But like if it's an earth sign, if it's like a Capricorn, a Virgo, or a Taurus, I know to be concerned because they don't get angry like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you,
when was it? Like yesterday, someone had sent something that was kind of harassing me because of a situation going on with like that person and two of my other friends. And it was funny because I was telling my other friend, who was just like my best friend, she's like, "You didn't get angry?" I was like, "No." Like I would have gotten angry if you messaged me. I was like, "I didn't." Like I had no reason to get angry. And she's like, you're a very hard person to like get mad." I was like, "Yeah, I can't get mad like at all. I get annoyed, but annoyed is different than getting mad."
yeah, like it's really hard to piss us off. Now, your Jupiter is also in Pisces, and Jupiter is like higher education, philosophy, forward thinking, knowledge. Again, the issue here is that it's in Pisces, and you have a very, this implies that you have somewhat of a fairy tale outlook on life. So it's like, how do I explain? It's like if you're in your history class, for example, you probably that girl that was just like said something really, really like out of this, like what the like you said who did what, and the history teacher was just like, what did you say?
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Also, they're playing a BTS song at the gym. So, yeah.
Yeah, like how do I explain? Like for example, like they say like, oh, what if like you'd be like, what if Marie Antoinette was a lesbian and she had a lesbian lover and they all ran away and someone else actually died in her place? And your history teacher's like, are you high? like 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 Pisces people would be the type to come up with these weird whatever, like these weird fantasies about historical events. And everyone's looking at them like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you had an experience like that. That's just like an example. So it's like the thing with you is that like you probably take all the knowledge that you receive and you slap your fairy tale stuff on it. So it's like this is what happened. This is my take on what happened.
Like, I made up this, I didn't make it up. It just seemed really like, how did this, it's a coincidence, everything happened. My hometown, Aurora, there was like a shooting at a factory.
Mm-hmm.
And like that same day, that's when Donald Trump made his national emergency, and I made up this conspiracy theory that the shooting in Aurora happened, and that way no one thinks about that national emergency. I told my grandma. My grandma was like, "What are you smoking? Like, why are you saying that?" I was like, "No one thinks it's weird that it happened all at the same time." She's like, "You're overthinking stuff." I was like, "No, I'm not."
No, and that's the thing. It's funny because like I say specifically like Scorpio, Aquarius, Pisces, and Sagittarius are really big conspiracy theorists. Like aliens are real. Like
Okay,
in
aliens
the video.
aren't real, but I believe that there is a human-like alien out there. I don't believe in the whole alien thing. Like the whole gray monsters,
Yeah,
no, I don't believe that.
yeah. Because there was a video I saw that was talking about how to be an Aquarius, and she was like, "What did Nicki Minaj rap about? Spaceships. She's here to warn us." Like, yeah, that's what it is. Now, this also kind of implies that you have a fear of the unknown when it comes to like knowledge, where it's like
I
you would
wouldn't
rather
say
not hear you'd rather not hear about bad futures. You'd like to keep in this mindset that's like everything's gonna be okay in the end, there's gonna be a happy ever after.
what to me it's not that. It's mostly like what's gonna happen 20 years from now. It's not me being like scared. It's just me mostly being like worried.
Hmm.
Because I'm
Understandable.
like, you know what? They're like, I don't want to say too much because I don't want the government to come out after me or whatever. But like, if you watch like, do you watch Shane Dawson videos?
No, I don't watch Shane Dawson. I don't
Okay,
follow Shane Dawson.
there's this one video. I'll send you like the link to it through Messenger, and like the end of it, it just made me think that can happen and it will happen one day, but when will it happen? Like that's mostly what I think.
Understandable. Now, moving on to your Saturn. Your Saturn, that's your planet of like limitations, restrictions, discipline, responsibilities, kind of bad luck, I'll say. So maybe oftentimes it like at your job, situations happen where you want to jump into something, but this insecurity hits you because it's your Saturn is in Aries. And Aries, Saturn in Aries implies that the person is very, very insecure about like their body, their future, their really like insecure about their just about like their goals in life. You know, because Saturn rules like material action and social status. And when I see Aries, it's like just what you like. I see that as someone who they just want to jump in there. They just want to go. They have all this energy, but they're very insecure. You're very, very, very insecure. So you might have had situations in your life where you missed out because your insecurity held you back. You know, where it's like I could, or and then you're like, I could have done that. I really could have, but I wished I had done that. Like, I really wish I had, or like, I imagine what my life would be like if I had taken that road instead of that road. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I have my Saturn is in Aries as well, so and also I'm a Virgo, so that's a horrible combination, and that leads that's like I'm lying in bed at night contemplating life kind of situation, you know, because some people they go straight to sleep. Other people sit in bed for like an hour, 2 hours before they actually fall asleep. And somebody who has like an Aries to Saturn, or just Aries anywhere, TBH, usually has this issue. And plus, you have that moon in Aquarius, and air signs always have a lot of thoughts going through their head. They always have a lot of thoughts, and it's a lot like air signs are not like a lot of air signs are night owls. A lot of air signs are night owls. I don't know if you're a night owl. I could see you.
I'm a night owl when I can. If I gotta go to work early the next day,
Yeah,
I'm not.
like you know, like I need to go to bed, but like
Yeah.
you know how to turn it on. But like if you don't have work, you probably are a night owl.
I could stay up. Like one time I stayed up until like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting ready for bed at like 8 o'clock at night.
Uh,
So like
so
yeah.
your Uranus and your Neptune. Uranus is like rebellion because that rules Aquarius, and Neptune is like subconscious. So that's also both your Uranus and your Neptune are in Aquarius. Now, again, Uranus is like rebellion, so you probably get in a lot of fights with your family because you just have a different opinion that doesn't really go with the grain of what the family thinks, or specifically the older people in your family. I don't know about like your cousins and everything, but specifically the older people because they're like the matriarchs and patriarchs of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, but I don't want to do that though.
Yeah, like I live with my grandparents, and my grandparents they're late 60s, early 70s, and like they were around during when like I don't want to offend you, but like they can say like the N word or they can say all these racial slurs, and I'm just like, why are you saying that? And they're like, because it's just a word. I'm like, yeah, but you can't be saying that out in public, and then we get into arguments over that.
Yeah. I don't know. What are your grandparents' birthdays?
My grandma, she was December 1st. My grandpa's May 1st. He's a Taurus as well.
And your grandma's a Sagittarius.
Yeah. So it's like, and also like with like a recent issue is the Jussie Smollett thing. My grandpa, he has like this thought in his head, like it's crazy, and it's like this just kind of ruined what a lot of LGBT people did. And he's like, well, all LGBT people get attacked, so he should get attacked. I'm like, no, that's not
Wait,
how
did
it
you
works.
see the thing where it's like, because right before I got on this with you, the FBI put out reports saying that the Chicago police hyped it up a bit too much.
Okay, well, I didn't see that because I'm at the gym. I don't.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know, but like.
Yeah, like as I got home, they were like the FBI put out a report saying that like Chicago police, y'all kind of y'all aren't entirely truthful. And I'm like, ooh. And they said that the check. Did
And
you see
that
the thing?
makes sense because I, I'm from Chicago. I know how the police are. Like I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, so yeah, I understand. But it's also like, Even I was thinking like, you know what? This is Chicago. I didn't tell anyone, but I was like, this is Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I know how Chicago works. Something's wrong.
Yeah, they said that the FBI claimed the Chicago Police Department may have overstated the Jesse Smollett case.
I mean, look at how they what's her name? The girl that died in the hotel in Rosemont. They just closed it out of nowhere. Like this was like the girl that died in the ice cooler at the hotel. Kadisha Jenkins, I think that was her name.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, and then they closed it automatically. I'm like, okay, that's a little weird. Why would the Chicago police do that right away? Like I said,
Understandable.
I'm from Chicago, so I know how like the police be working sometimes, and it's like not right.
It is sad because they said that like all like the text messages and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they said there's no evidence that he paid them anything. And
Yeah, that I saw. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, you know what? It makes sense because realistically, if I'm paying someone for something like that, I wouldn't write a check.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, this sounds kind of weird, but at the end of the day, Jesse Smollett's also a cancer. Cancers do a lot of weird shit as it is because they're in their feelings about something.
But
So
would they really do stupid stuff like that?
yes, honestly, this is about water signs. Water signs can be very emotionally manipulative. So I
Mm-hmm.
can believe that a cancer would do that. At the same time, though, like at the same time, though, there's certain things where it's just like this is common sense, common criminal sense, where it's like you'd have to be really dumb not to take like you'd have to like just smart enough to know not to give somebody a check for a hit.
Like you would give them cash, like straight up cash, if you were doing something like that. At least I know
Exactly.
I would.
Exactly. So um, you have a Pluto that's in Sagittarius, but it's in retrograde. Now, Pluto is like death and transformation. It implies how you will evolve in life, how you will. One thing that's good about that is that Sagittarius, having a Pluto that's a mutable sign is really, really, really good because mutable signs adapt to people. They learn things over time. And having a Pluto implies that you will learn a lot of things over time. Like a lot of things in your life will start to like that's how you will evolve with new information. Like information will be the thing that helps bring you into the next parts of your life. So something that cues a big transformation will be the reason. For example, like you meeting a boy and he turns out to be the one that's going to be your next husband. That's an example. Or getting a new job or moving out like that like for some people that's just natural. That doesn't mean anything, but for you it implies that like forward thinking, philosophy, education, forward thinking, philosophy, education, that's what will help you advance in life. No, it being in retrograde, it makes sense because you're a Taurus, and Tauruses don't like to change their mind. It's very like this is what I think. So that's you. You will have a harder time because you're very fixed and set in your ways. But the minute you decide, okay, I should probably like take this into consideration and think about this logically. You will experience so many things. Like I'm telling you, you probably had situations when growing up where you were like, I should probably do this differently, and when you did it differently, it's like, my life just changed. What the hell?
Yeah, like maybe in high. I remember in high school we had like regular classes and AP classes. I remember thinking like, oh, if I take all these regular classes, I'm just gonna feel bad about myself, and I kind of did because I was like, I don't know why. I just said I take one AP class, and all of a sudden it was like, oh wow, I'm actually not this big of a loser. Okay, I guess. Like it was just such a drastic change for kind of almost nothing. just the simplest thing ever, and it just made me feel a lot better about myself.
Yeah, that's an example. Now, I'm still not entirely sure how to read Lilith, but according to this, Lilith is like a deep, dark, like there's so many different types of interpret. You know who Lilith is, though, right?
I think I do, yeah.
Like Adam's first wife.
Yeah.
So in the
Yeah,
Zodiac,
I remember her because there's a song from one of my favorite gothic groups, and I kept researching her for like a whole week, but I don't call her Lilith. I call her what was it that I told my friend that I call her Satan's angel, because how they say like, oh, she's like a Satan, or she's Lucifer's wife or something, so I call her Satan's angel, and that's supposed to be kind of like an oxymoron of something, because
not entirely sure.
I just went hard into researching her, and then all of a sudden I was like, I think her perfect nickname would be like Satan's angel, because she's considered like this terrible person, but like you just see that she just wanted equality.
Yeah.
So I've always called her Satan's angel.
Understandable. It's sad. Like her story is sad, and I don't know what, like I don't know how to. Your Lilith is in Libra, so that can imply. I don't know what that implies. That can imply that you might find yourself like. I'm gonna guess here because I could be horribly wrong because I'm not entirely sure how to read Lilith. It implies that like superficial things like beauty, or like your indecisiveness, or just like that can be like maybe that can be your downfall. I'm not in talk because I'm still trying to figure out how to read Lilith.
It's mostly like, it's not your downfall. It can be mostly like your greatest weakness.
Yeah, because like the issue with Lilith, there's more than one kind of Lilith. Like in the show, there's like Black Moon Lilith. There's this asteroid. There's more than one Lilith. So it's like it varies depending on what kind of Lilith you have, but Libra is also ruled by Venus because Taurus and Libra. I mean, Taurus and Libra are both ruled by some signs share a ruling planet. Like like Scorpio and Aries, they both are ruled by Mars. Except Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. So maybe that, I guess that implies that like you already have the charms of it. You already are ruled by Venus, so there is a beauty in you. But the Libra is like indecisive, so there might be some, and also you have that Aries in you. So there's the insecurity there when it comes to the beauty that you have, and that can butterfly effect into bad decisions and treating other people negatively because of that insecurity regarding like beauty or superficial things. So maybe I would say like when you discover, like it's one of those things where like how do I explain, like when you hit your glow up button, you're gonna hit it hard. It's gonna be like, well then, hello bitches. I don't like y'all told me I was ugly, but what about now? I stole your husband. Like I stole your husband. I stole your son's in love with me, even though he's too young for me.
I'm not gonna steal no one's husband. I'm not doing that. That ain't my thing.
I know that's just like an example. Like it's really funny seeing people who made fun of you in school because of your looks, and then like all of a sudden it's like they see you and you're just like, wow, you got really like you are really like they can see how you've changed looks wise. And it's just like crying now, bitch.
Like what was it, this like comedy thing I saw Gabriel Iglesias said, like he went to his high school reunion or whatever, and he told two girls like, I asked you two girls out to prom, and you guys got fat and ugly. I kept my figure. Why couldn't you? And one of my friends was like, you're probably gonna be like that. She's like, but you're gonna have a different figure than what you did in high school.
Like trust and believe. You probably will have one of those days where you walk in there and everyone's like, oh, is that her? She looks so different. What? It's like this. It's how I saw it with Eugene Yang from Try Guys. He was like, when I was younger, they told me that I should get surgery to look like this particular person. But now that I'm successful, all of a sudden I'm hot. But before I was successful, all of a sudden I was ugly. But the minute I got successful, I'm pretty now. I'm confused. Do you want me to get plastic surgery or not?
Or like, who was it? Just Jessica, she's the one that's in the yearbook. Like, you're all gonna regret not dating me in high school, right?
Tiffany said that, but
Oh,
like,
Tiffany.
but here's the thing. Tiffany even admitted that wasn't me. She was like, I think someone edited that. But like, she's like, I never said that.
Oh, that's sad because that would have made that would have made me happy.
Yeah, but it'll trust and believe it'll happen. What on earth, Yunjay? What are you doing? Um, so the houses, to explain houses, they're like stages of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it might tell you how you're gonna die. I don't know, because some people start to tell me how they're gonna die.
I would
Like
actually like to know that.
or it just might tell you like stuff like health stuff, like what does it say? Ooh, okay, it says a weak point for you is like blood circulation. So maybe I don't know if your family has a history of like high cholesterol or heart disease.
I have a aunt who was diabetic, but it's not like a generic thing. I don't think anyone in my family really had high blood pressure or diabetes or anything like that.
Well, it just says like a weak point will be blood circulation, and that might be in pertaining to, let me see, sixth house. Jobs that involve traveling. It implies that like if you get a job, I think this is what it might be saying. If you get a job that requires you to travel a lot, your health might fail as a result of it because you'll be eating in all these places because you're on the move. You can't stop and cook because you're out and about. You'll stop all these places and eat, and it affects your health negatively. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
That's just an example. So, because the sixth house is the house of material transaction, and it's the house that's in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, they like to learn. Like people with Sagittarius energy, like I said, that's forward thinking, that's evolution, higher education,
Mm-hmm.
and that can happen. They tend to overdo it. They overindulge. So whenever you go out and about, just don't get in that habit, I guess. You might have been in habits where, let's say your family was on vacation, or you were in some new place and you overdid it. Or you were just doing something. You were doing something new and you overdid it. I don't know if you've ever drinking before, but like I don't know if you ever gotten drunk.
Yeah, I did in Mexico. Best place to get drunk.
But you overdid it.
It's funny. I didn't overdid it. I just had like 2 drinks. And all of a sudden, I just remember myself laughing at the Border Patrol agent at the checkpoint.
So your second house, which is your house of Leo, it says that financial success will be easy thanks to the support of influential people. So I don't know if you have like, there's been a lot of, I don't know what that entirely means, but it's a slow and steady. So maybe you might get in a situation where, let's say you get a job where you just like, every person at that job makes you feel so loved and appreciated. And as a result, you get more money, or surround yourself with people. I guess that's in a way that's saying that when you surround yourself with positive people who you don't have drama with, who have a more positive energy in your life, it will help you advance upward.
Yeah, like my job right now, like everyone is just like really. Because I remember I was training in like something new. It wasn't new, but like at that place, it was new for me. And like all I was thinking was, oh, I'm doing such a terrible job. I'm not doing it well. And then by the end of my shift, they're like, wow, you did an awesome job. And it's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, positive reinforcement will really help you along the way. Now, third house is social and intellectual learning. You need to stop overanalyzing your friends, Missy, because it's in Virgo, and Virgos, us Virgos, we overthink everything, we overanalyze everything. Earth signs do this, and Earth signs are analytical, but Virgos are like the masters of analytical. And it says you analyze everything, you criticize everything, and you overthink. So I don't know if you have conflicts because you overthink, and that does make sense because you have that Aquarius moon and you have that Pisces energy in you, because it's like you have all these thoughts, all these emotions, and it collides, and then Taurus, stubbornness. So it's like I think it's one of those things where I can say analyze everything, before you get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, so not, that's not saying like analyze everything and then run. Like for example, like let's take romance. I analyze every single person that I talk to before I'm interested. Before I actually talk to them, like I read them. What's their chart? What's their birthday? What's their sign? What's their chart? What are they into? What kind of pictures do they take? And then I actually talk to them though. Get as much information as you can before jumping into a situation,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be much better. Because if you are in the moment and you try to overanalyze stuff, it's not going to work. It won't work out well in your favor. Be as prepared as you can, basically. Your fourth house is in Libra. That's like the sign of the mother. I don't know if your mom is indecisive or like it's the house of like home and the mom. So when I see that in the past, I say, is your family in a situation or constantly in situations where they have to make really big decisions where it's like you can do this, but if we do this, this will happen. And if we do this, this might happen. Or there's like a lot of options that have to be weighed before coming to a decision.
I mean, not anymore, but like, I remember like, it's weird because I don't know really that much about it because I'm 20. It's not like I pay rent to my grandparents or anything, but like, nothing really major has happened in the household for such a long time. So it's like, how would I answer that? Like, I knew my cousin used to live with us, and that was such a big issue. But like, since we moved out, everything's been more calm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Your fifth house is creative self-expression, romance, entertainment, and gambling. It says you get drunk in love.
Shoot, I pass out when I get drunk, so.
No, drunk in love.
Yeah, so what? I pass out when I fall in love, or what?
You pass out when you fall in love?
I don't know. I probably pass out when I'm drunk, I guess. If drunk in love means I pass out when I'm in love, so.
No, it means that like you fall in love too quickly.
I
And
don't really
you
see that.
or
I guess I've never been in
in
an
love, say
environment.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about for example, like the door opens to the gym and Salvi walks in. He walks over to you and says hi.
Oh shoot! I'm gonna champion. I'll fall, bust my head.
Stuff like that. What I mean, like blinded by love, it's just like you get so overwhelmed with the emotion of love, or like when you know that you like for example like for example when EXO did that Spanish song, it's like that the feeling that was so overwhelming. You're just like I would do like in this moment, like in that moment, it's like yo, you could ask me to go set a tree on fire and I would do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like that's the mood it gets you in, to where you do irrational stuff because of it. And it implies that like you will have a fertile love life, but just don't get blinded by love. Like so it's like your love life is going to get fertile. Like you're going to have a very fertile love life. Just um question, what are the social groups like in where you live?
Social groups. Okay, I live in the Valley of Texas, so it's like you either have the preppy people, the emo gothic people, the taquaches, which are really like the guys with like the. Have you ever seen those like trucks that are really really low to the ground? Like you wonder how like their cars are
Yeah.
being straight.
Yeah.
Those I consider the taquaches in our world here in the valley. And then it's just like the outcasts.
Because like how do I explain?
Like if you like, do you talk to Oh well, they weren't here that long to know, but like you know how Gemini, JC Park, and Justin Park came to the valley.
Mm-hmm.
I think like they described how different it was for them. I think if you came here, you would be surprised just how different like the valley is from all of America.
I mean, I've been to Dallas and I was just like, why is it so flat here? I'm like, I see a lot of sky for some reason. Like,
Yeah,
I see a lot of sky.
yes, that's like another thing. Like, have you ever gone out to your house, you see the sky, but it's not moving? Don't know. I know when I was in Illinois, that happened to me a lot. I kept looking out, and it didn't seem like the sky was moving. You come here, you go 1 feet up, you see the sky moving all around you.
It was just one of those things where it's just like we were driving around and we got on a bridge, and I'm just like, I feel like it's like either A, the buildings just aren't high enough, but there's a lot of sky. It was just like I'm like I feel like I saw a lot. It was one of those, it's like sensory overload because like I'm a Virgo, so I analyze everything. So I'm just like analyzing. I was like sky, so much sky. What's happening? There's so much sky. Like it was. I was surprised at how flat it was because I live in the woodlands. Like the East Coast is like. Texas is weird. It's like half plains, half woodland, half desert, half everything. I don't know what the fuck Texas is.
Like, when who was it? I think JC Park. Oh no, Gemini said like the valley's in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, have you been to Refugio? That's the middle of nowhere. The valley is like, it's like, think of it like I used this like perfect analogy one time, and someone understood it. Think of the valley as Los Angeles. You know how big Los Angeles is?
Yeah.
Okay, think of it like that. And like the main city, McAllen, that's Los Angeles. And then you have all these other little towns like Calabasas, Venice Beach. I don't know if that's like near Los Angeles. But like that's how it is. And then you go out and then it's like nothing. That's like how the valley is.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. Your sixth house, one relation. Seventh house is in Capricorn. It says you are gonna fall in love with your best friend.
Oh, my best friend, she'll kill me if I fall in love with her.
Guy.
I don't have a guy best friend.
Find one. Or find a guy that can be your best friend. Because it says
the guys in the valley, you do not want to be friends with them.
Why?
Have you ever seen those posts where it says like those stupid ones where it's like, I don't know how to say it. The guys here, it's like you either find a really good one or you just find a massive loser. That's how like the valley guys are.
What?
You either find like the most loyal guy or you find a massive loser.
So I don't know how to explain because like Virginia is different in the sense where it's like we're more southern. So a lot of the guys are taught to be gentlemen. Most of the relationships fall apart over here because of like miscommunications and ethic differences. Like for example, or philosophical differences. And plus I'm gay, so it's like in the gay world, it's a whole different ballgame because you have those shallow ass gay men. It was really weird. Okay, so growing up. I thought I heard Produce 48 for a minute there. How do I say? It was gay when growing up, you're always taught that like, oh, people like the model types that are like all chiseled and everything. But then I get to college and everyone here likes bears. Like the big scruffy guys with the plaid and I was like, I'm so confused. What the hell? Because what the image of the standards of gay men that I was taught growing up before I got to college versus when I actually got to college are two different things. And a lot of the gay guys have daddy issues here, which is not surprising, but still. But like they're all attracted to those types, and it's really confusing. But I know in Virginia most guys are taught to be gentlemen, but again, it's still the South, so it's like what some people would say, oh, you're a douchebag. Is just normal over here. Like we wouldn't see it as a douchebag. We just think they're just typical Southern men who've been taught typical Southern, like traditional Southern ways. Though they might come to their own conclusions later in life. What?
I'm not gonna say that. I'll just message it to you.
Oh, you saw a hot guy walk past?
No, but my potential best friend.
Huh?
Potential best friend. What we were just talking about.
Oh, a potential marriage.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a weird story. Like, if you want me to tell you about that story, like through Messenger or like in a live to get other people's opinions, because I've been telling this story to a lot of people, and they all have different opinions. It's fascinating to know what people think of guys like this. And when I tell you, it doesn't just happen to me, it's a valley thing.
Maybe. Cause like I'm a country suburb boy, So like, I don't know if the Valley is like the city, there's the city part of Houston, or it's like on the outskirts of
No, the
Houston.
valley is like on the border of Mexico.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, do you know about this story where they send like the military people like
Yeah.
to the border of Mexico? That's where they sent them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I live. It's not Houston. Like San Antonio is 4 hours away. Houston's like 6 to 7 hours away. Dallas is like legit half a day away from where I live.
Take a plane and still be in Texas. Understandable.
That's why when Salvi came to Dallas, he's like, I know it's like a long way. I'm like, oh, you don't even know half of it. No.
Yeah, let me see.
Like, okay, me and my grandparents, we travel to Chicago almost every year. Our stopping place, like, when we are going to Chicago, like, one of the main stopping places is Texarkana, Texas. 12 hours away. We live, like, well, depending on stops, it can be 12 to 14 hours. So we start in Donna, where we live, to get to Texarkana. Like, if we start in Donna, like, at 5 o'clock, we get to Texarkana, like, at 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Also, the Oscars red carpet is out right now, and a guy, what's his name, Billy Porter, just walked on the carpet dressed in this.
Billy Porter, I love him. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm just like, is that a dress or is that just like a long man cape? I'm confused.
I had to admit, Coley Fern, Billy Porter, and Lupita Nyong'o are my 3 fashion icons at the moment. Like, I love their fashion.
I'm really interested to see. Oh, Aquafina's there. I'm interested to see what is Shangela there? Oh, Shangela, the drag queen. Oh, I like her dress.
Oh my god, I love her.
Yeah, this is her dress. I love it. So, okay, scrolling down.
Okay, I'm gonna have to be on this treadmill and just like search for like a red carpet thing. Because honestly, I get excited about the red carpet, but I mean, now that I'm older and I'm just like, I would rather see it like afterwards rather than seeing it then. Because I think the aftershock of seeing it like for the first time is still there afterwards.
Also, it says your 12th house is in Gemini, and it says anxiety and preoccupation concerning a dear one. And the last person who I told about that, I said that like my guess, because I've only read one other person who had this in their chart. It implied that there's somebody in their life that gives them a lot of anxiety. Usually something with like education or just like the general emotion, that someone who just pushes a lot of anxiety on them. Like this one girl, she said it's specifically her dad, because her dad wants her to be a nurse, but she doesn't want to be a nurse. She wants to be something else. And her dad gives her like a very like, you need to be a nurse. And she's like, I don't want to. And he gives her a lot of anxiety.
That's my grandpa. He's pushing me constantly like, oh, you need to learn Spanish. Oh, you need to do this way. You need to do this and you need to do that. And it's just like, it's really overwhelming because even though I'm Mexican American, I don't know Spanish. Like, I'm ashamed to admit that. But like the way that he does, like how he pushes people, it terrifies someone. Like, I'm not even joking.
Understandable.
Like, yeah. I think you and my grandpa, like if we were to sit you down in like a room together, just you two, it would turn into a fight.
No, it wouldn't. Like I don't really ever fight anyone. It's just more.
No,
it's
like, it's not because of you. It's mostly because of what he would say.
Oh, like if you call me Ember, I'd just be like, no. I'm one of those people where it's like when someone wants to call me a derogatory term, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna say it on live, but I was like, okay, and then I was just like, okay, and I would do, I don't, and I'd have to look up Hispanic derogatory terms, and they'd be like, why'd you call me that? It's like the same, like, oh, well, hey, if you can call me the Ember, then I can call you this, right? But you don't want me to call you that though, so be quiet. Because it was funny. I had this old roommate. He was half black, half Puerto Rican. He tried to call me. He tried to say that I was a whitewashed black person, and I was like,
what?
a whitewashed black person. And I was like, excuse me, Mr. Half-breed. Both of my parents are actually black. So before you come from my blackness, check yourself, Mr. Taco Eater. And he got really mad. I'm like, no, you can't get mad because you literally just came from my ethnic identity because my family's politically independent. Like we're politically set like down the middle, and he's very, very liberal. And because I'm not down with the whole like, you know how like you're with your community, but you're not with your community. I have a very like capitalist view of things, where it's like, yeah, I'm with you, but I'm not gonna carry you. I'm not gonna hold your hand along the way. Like it's like, yeah, I'll support you with like more like moral stuff or ethical conflicts, but I'm like the whole support you just because you're black thing. I mean, like if it's like a celebrity, okay, like hey, they got like just how like for example, like if it's a predominantly white RuPaul's Drag Race winning, like let's say for example, the first two people in the Drag Race Hall of Fame were white. Imagine if a Hispanic queen had won, and then like, oh, Tina, and it's like you know how they go, you go hard for your people. In the same way, like if I'm watching predominantly anything. Like when I was watching a variety show and Sam Ogilvy popped up, I was like, that's a brother right there. What's up? Like,
yeah, like when Gina Rodriguez, when she won her award, I can't remember what it was for. A lot of Mexican people were like in love with that, but then I remember she had said something kind of against the Mexican. It wasn't really against them. It was just like a wrong thing to say, and we were all like, why did you say that? That was the worst thing you could possibly say to your people.
Yeah. Then there was another thing where I was watching Wicked, and they were talking about how Wicked has other companies in other countries, and they were talking about when the Mexican production of Wicked, and she was like, it's weird because you would think that I was part of the American cast, the way they're going so hard for me, but I'm in my home country. Like I'm in my home country, and they're going so hard just because we're proud, the Mexican pride and everything. I'm just like, understandable. Because I view the Hispanic community. I'm like, oh, that's a very passionate community. Like that's a very passionate community right there. However, I will say that like whenever me and my friends were always talking, we're just like, it's the Hispanic and the Italian man. You just can't trust them.
No, like, you really can't. You really can't. But you know what? What's so I would not say wrong about that is that you know how okay, what really, especially because I have my two cousins who are Afro Latinos and they're so proud about that. They get really mad when like a black person would say, "Oh, black people have it worse," and then a Mexican person is like, "No, we have it worse," and it's like we can't decide who has it worse. We just have it bad. That's all we have.
Or that one incident was on Love and Hip Hop Miami where she was black and she had the fro. And he tried to be like, "Which are you? Pick one." She's like, "Oh, I'm about to punch you, sir." I'm like,
no, that's true. Like when because I watch Love and Hip Hop, I love it. Mm-hmm. But I did see that, and I was like, "How are you gonna tell me Afro Latino what side to pick?"
Like, why can't she be both?
Like, that's just like like I said, my cousins, they always consider themselves Mexican, but when a Mexican tells them the N word, they're like, "Hey, don't tell me that." They're like, "Well, you say you're Mexican, but you're obviously black. Which one do you want to be?" And they're like, "I'm both." But like, of course, they do identify with the Mexican side more. That's what they grew up in.
Yeah, I mean, like that's valid because like what's his name? That model in Korea, he's like half Nigerian, half Korean.
Oh yeah.
Hyunbin, he got stopped. They say he got stuck in customs because he was coming back to Korea and they didn't believe he was Korean.
Makes no sense.
Even though he had a Korean passport, they thought it was fake. Because they're just like,
you know what? I'm not gonna lie because, like I said, I live on the border of Mexico. I see that happen quite a lot. Like they will stop you just because you're brown, but you speak English.
Going into Mexico?
No, going into America.
Oh.
They do that a lot. Like they do that a lot. Like the last time I went to Mexico. Okay. Here in the valley, we have something called when it Texas snowbirds, and they come during the wintertime. And I went to Mexico, and we saw like a lot of snowbirds, just a bunch, and like they were passing through. And there was this one lady speaking English to her, like I think granddaughter, and she was abuelita. She was a Mexican grandma, and they stopped her because they believed that her passport was fake, and the person that stopped her was white.
Of course, white people can't trust them.
So it's like when me and my grandma saw that, we got pissed off because we're like, you let all these white people through, but the one brown person you stopped. Okay.
Yeah, and I think also like, how old are your cousins, by the way?
One of them is 8. No, one of them is 8, 19, and the others are 9 and 7.
The Afro Latino one.
Yeah,
So
there's 3 of them. That's why.
the way this is how I say. The one reason why this is why the whole one drop rule came into play, because you remember that video where there was like the council of Koreans, one was 25% Korean, one was 50% Korean, and one was 100% Korean. And they're trying to figure out whether or not someone was dubbed, oh, okay, you're Asian or you're Korean. And they got to the black council. Like, I'm 1% African American. You're black. Court adjourned. I'm just like, eesh. It's because of like situations like that where she gets rejected. Oh, by the way, I think I just about finished your chart, by the way, just letting you know. It's just it's situations like that. And I don't know if you're the other one, younger ones aren't young enough to realize this, but the oldest one, let's let him know from a fellow African American, it's okay to be black, but not culturally black. Most black people, we're not culturally African.
Mm-hmm.
Like, most of us aren't. Yeah, we're all like black power and everything, but most of us are not culturally African. That's partially because of slavery, because we can't remember shit. Because like my dad did his DNA test, and we were like, it said Niger, like he wasn't over 50% any specific country. It was 95%. He got 95% West African, but only 23% Nigerian. And the issue with that is that, are we really Nigerian? Or is that just where our family got pushed when they through the colony borders? Is that just where the slaves were? Are we, for example, my professor, my West African history professor, by nationality, she's Kenyan, but ethnically, she's Bantu, and Bantu is a West African ethnic group. But when the colony borders got drawn, her family got pushed into Kenya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like me, like how Mexicans, we all have like not Indian, but we all have like Aztec ancestry. So when I did mine, it said that I was like 15% Mayan and like 35% Mexican. And someone was like, "Oh, so you're a lot Mexican?" And it's like, well, what do you mean by a lot Mexican?
Like native.
Native.
Yeah, they're saying that like the Mayan Aztec influence is it's a stronger like. I don't know what the requirements are in terms of like, because I know in America, I know in certain parts of the state, they give you like you have to take your like depending on what percentage you have, whether you can get like a tribe card,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think for the Aztecs it might be different, but 15% you probably, if you look it up, you might be able to get the card.
I mean, I'm not like into that stuff only because it's like I don't know how to explain it.
When I mean like a card, I mean like. Let's say that like you wanted to also identify by that part of your heritage, you could. It's like the tribe. It's like they're officially recognizing you as one of them. It's like an official like you're one of us.
Because like I have a cousin from my dad's side. Her mom, I think, they were a part of a tribe. I think it was the Seminole tribe. I think, and she was like 50% Seminole, and my other cousin, she's like about like 50 as well, and she got into it, and I'm just like, I didn't understand it because obviously I'm not Seminole, I'm not anything, I'm Aztec apparently, but it's like it kind of just confused me in my head.
Oh, I think people. It's a way to keep their history alive because they basically nearly got wiped out. So it's one of those things where it's like they want to demonstrate because when they do that, it helps them bring the language back. Like for example, like my family's Creole, not Haitian, Louisiana. Louisiana Creole. It's fun that our DNA, there was no Haitian in my dad's the Creole one.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Haitian in his bloodline. I was so taken back. Like there's not a single drop of Haitian, pure Louisiana Creole, so um in the dialect of French that they speak is a dialect. Like my grandpa could speak it, my great aunties could speak it, but none of my dad's siblings can speak it. And I really, and the upside of that is people are trying to like, they really want to bring it back. Nobody wants dialects to die out. Nobody wants that because it's educational. So it's like when people try to
Like the
claim
Spanish language, like they said, like they say in like the next min,
millennium.
yeah, that Spanish could possibly be wiped out.
I mean, if you look at Spain, according to what I was watching a video, they were like, yeah, in Spain, there's like 5 languages spoken. I'm like, the fuck? What you
Yeah,
mean?
but like specifically the Mexican language, only because how there's a lot of Mexicans migrating to America, and a lot of the kids are now learning English and don't necessarily speak Spanish. Like me, example, I grew up speaking English and Spanish, but I lost a lot of my Spanish. Like I lost a lot of that, and now it's like hard to learn it again, to be honest.
It's a matter of just using it, really.
And it's also confusing because like we have a lot of prefixes, and like in America we don't. Like okay, I'm gonna say just like the simplest sentence in English. I went to the store, and that would be like yo me voy para la tienda. But then it's like if I said a lot of people went, it was like nosotros or vosotros van para la tienda. It's like weird.
Mm.
And it's like if you say one thing wrong, anyone from the motherland just comes at you and attacks you and say you don't know Spanish. You didn't grow up speaking Spanish. It's like okay.
I've actually witnessed that happen before, and because it was my friend was Puerto Rican, and I
Mm-hmm.
asked her to write something for me in Spanish, and the Mexican was like, "This is not proper Spanish." I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, like that's like it's just so weird. And also like I love all Hispanic and Latinos. I love them all. But like there's a lot of words in Spanish that could be offensive to one person but not to another.
Understandable.
Like the funniest one, and I don't want to say it because I'm really scared. Pendejo. Pendejo apparently in Puerto Rico means a little child. In Mexico it means a asshole, basically. Yeah.
Because
But
I've
what's
heard
also
that
funny,
word used.
yeah,
I've
but
heard
what's
that word used. I was just like,
so
that's a swear
funny,
word?
what's so funny too is sometimes we do call little kids pendejos. So it kind of makes sense, but then it's also like, wow, that is, I never knew that until I watched, until when my friend was like, hey, you know that pendejo in Puerto Rico means a little kid. I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, poor kid. I was like, poor kid.
Poor kid, poor kid. Let me stop.
But
But
like,
yeah.
see, that's why I love slash hate the Spanish language, because it's like, what's what I don't know.
Yeah, like apparently I didn't like you know how you always hear British people saying bloody this, bloody that? Turns out that's a swear word. I didn't know that.
What?
You know how you hear British people, they're like, oh bloody hell.
Oh
Bloody
yeah.
is that's a swear word. Because like my friend, she was in England and she was talking and she was like, oh yeah, I bloody love this. And they were like, watch your mouth. That's a swear word in England.
Oh wow, that I did not know.
Yeah, it's a swear word in England. Like they say it, but like in America we don't see that as a swear word, but in England that's a swear word.
You know what? That would make a lot of sense because at my school we had like a British exchange student, and I always loved to say, "Oh, you bloody person," and they would get so offended, like oh my god, like they would just get mad at me every time they saw me, and now I know. Now I know why.
Yeah, because it's a swear word in that country.
I see. I never knew that.
Yeah. And that's why I think some British people like America because there's certain things that they can say that doesn't get bleeped, and they're like, American.
Like I know, like I remember one of my friends that she went to Britain, and